The Storm King sucks. The end. Objection! Well, I suppose I should elaborate. So yeah, the 2017 MLP movie had a very disappointing antagonist. The Storm King leaves little impact on the story and is ultimately forgettable. The movie itself was okay, but that's a conversation for another video. But for today, let's discuss the Storm King and analyze the creation of such a failed antagonist. Barring information from the comics and going strictly by the movie, what do we know about the Storm King?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
My point exactly. This guy is supposed to be the big baddie, and yet we know absolutely nothing about the guy other than he's evil and wants to steal the royal princess's power to take over the world.
Of course!
The most lamest and cliched of motives for a villain. You wanna know why the whole take over the world shtick is a terrible story motivation? Or let me put it to you this way, why doesn't that type of story work well like it does in this movie? Admittedly, it is a classic villain trope for characters wanting world domination, but the issue that's usually never brought up is why? Taking over the world is a means to achieve a goal, but what is the goal itself?
I don't understand the question.
Look, you must have a reason.
Of course I have a reason. It's a secret.
Why do they want to take over the world? Reshape society to reflect the antagonist's ideals? Improve society by removing those who seem undesirable in their eyes and create a perfect world? Or maybe they're just a complete psychopathic bastard who wants to accrue power to kill others for sport? Or they want revenge of the world because they've been bullied or held back due to society's social norms. These are all valid antagonist motivations. The Storm King wants to take over the world. Okay, fine. Congratulations, Storm King! You have just succeeded in taking over the world! With all this newfound power and creatures all around the world at your beck and whim, what are you gonna do with your newly acquired power? You fail! But okay, let's just roll with the Storm King and his basic motivations. It's a simple kids film, whatever. But you know what squanders this potential even more? The fact that he's barely in this movie! We see his call with Tempest in the beginning of the second act, and then he just shows up at the end during the climax.
I mean, come on, the movie's almost over. Who do you think you are? Venom?
Thanks for showing up to the fucking movie, jackass! You're only one of the main antagonists!
You're the most disappointing movie villain since General Grievous.
Okay, how about his personality? Is he an interesting character, or at least somewhat intimidating?
I can move the sun? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, night, day, sunrise, sunset.
Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset.
Ugh, sweet Celestia, you suck! Now, admittedly, his eccentric mannerisms do get a couple good laughs, but I'm not laughing with him, I'm laughing at him. More specifically, how much of an incompetent moron he is. How the hell did this guy become the leader of this regime to take over the world?
You promised me magic that could control the elements, and right now I'm holding a what? The branch, a twig.
That would be the staff of Antagonist, Your Excellency, and it will channel the magic of the four rulers of this land.
That's right, folks. This guy needs the tools of his ultimate victory explained to him.
Holy crap! Who is running this army?
Now, I appreciate that they did make him eccentric to have the audience try to like him by instilling some humor, but it's just not enough to save him and is basically just an evil jerk waving a wand around like a child. How am I supposed to take this guy seriously? And you know, there's many characters in fiction that can pull off the eccentric yet intimidating villainous persona. In fact, there's one in MLP I can think of, Discord! The Spirit of Chaos! The guy can warp time and space with a simple snap of his claw, making him once a great intimidating villain, but even after his reformation remained entertaining with his eccentric, humorous mannerisms, providing many great comedic moments.
They took Fluttershy?
Yes!
Where?
Oh, this again.
and there was potential for the Storm King to become a memorable antagonist as the elements of a three-dimensional villain are there, but they're just not realized. And you just have an eccentric megalomaniac seeking power. A notable example about this kind of character done right is Handsome Jack from Borderlands, who is one of the greatest video game villains of all time. He's an evil bastard who has power, intelligence, and influence that grants a lot of menace to his character, along with his sick and psychotic tendencies.
This jackal rushes me with a spoon, so I scoop out his stupid little eyeballs with it, and his kids are all, wah!
Yet, he's a character you love and love to hate because he's just so over-the-top evil. And this rich guy has literally nothing to do all day except throw hilarious epithets and threats at you at every point of your journey. He just hits you up every once in a while to chat, and every single one of his lines are pure gold.
The diamond horse I've been telling you about, he's not a sculpture or anything. It's a living horse that actually happens to be made of... Well, actually, I'll go get it. What, Stallion? Here you go. What, Stallion? Say hello. Yeah. Mud Stallion says hello.
And I won't spoil too much here, but when you find out the reasoning behind why he's trying to kill the Vault Hunters, along with his abusive past, he's not doing all this just to become the greatest, most powerful corporation in the galaxy, but he has personal motivations that make his actions still terrible, yet understandable from his point of view, making him an overall well-rounded, interesting antagonist. There really isn't too much more to say about the Storm King. The dude is nowhere near a legitimate threat or interesting character, as he is clearly overshadowed by Tempest Shadow. She is the obvious main antagonist. Why wasn't she the main antagonist? So let's take a look at the movie from her perspective. For starters, she has way more screen time than the Storm King, plus she has an actual goal. We learn her backstory about her damage torn by the Ursa Minor and how her disfigurement led to her becoming an outcast and losing all her friends. She eventually learns of the Staff of Sakonis and how its power, along with the power of the Royal Princesses, could potentially restore her horn, returning her to a normal life. Her actions to achieve her goal are concurrent with the Storm King's, and her actions are also inherently malevolent, yet all she is seeking is to become a normal unicorn again. Not as lofty a goal as world domination, but it's a much more reasonable and personal, emotional goal. Her backstory is simple, but at least she has one, and she's clearly more intelligent than the Storm King as stated earlier, with her organizing the attack on Canterlot, knowledgeable of the Staff of Sakonis, and is a capable mayor on the battlefield with her taking out almost all of Equestria's princesses. Plus, her design overall is much more unique than his, with some cool purple and pink hues and those random discharges of electricity. She also has a cool voice and a cool outfit that show off her impressive flanks. I really like her mane. Anyway, so what can be done to improve the Storm King's character? Mainly a well thought out and interesting backstory, and have him in the film for more than 10 minutes! Have a reason for him wanting all this power. Perhaps his home was being attacked by some powerful military force, and his people reached out to other races who ultimately declined for the safety of their own people, including Equestria. Storm King and his people realize they can't rely on anyone else, and thus they research and eventually discover this powerful magic item and could use it to combat the enemy. They would then locate the staff and organize a campaign against the royal princesses to steal their power. Stealing their power obviously is evil, but you can sympathize and understand with the guy as he just wants to protect his people and has been previously betrayed too much as to take the diplomatic route. Keep his eccentric mannerisms, but make him more intelligent to add a true level of menace to his character. The movie can then proceed as normal with the main six on the run from the Storm King, with him denouncing friendship as any legit form of relationship, with him being betrayed so much in the past. The climax performs along the lines of something that rekindles his faith in friendship, and they defeat the big bad other threat. He returns the power to the princesses, and they all live happily ever after. At least that's an overall better idea I proposed, other than what we actually got. As is now, the Storm King is a poorly written, uninspired, lackluster villain that is ultimately forgettable and ultimately a waste of space in the movie. If you guys have any suggestions about how to improve the Storm King, let me know in the comments below, along with your opinion of him in general. Well, that's it for today, guys. Until next time, MC out!